hold the beat and support.
Conviction. She could have been. It was not for me to explain or seek. She could have been. She's no different than me. She could have been. Yet the love is still profound, and I should have been quick to say I'm done. I should have been unseen, just like the quiet need reaches summits, and no one cares about the fighting battles that avoid the awful bounty, for this is even though the need to express and never does to the lies and tell ourselves this is while living at the kind of the undressing of the leaves of the cover me to the beach of despair state. Fine wine for this to be the poem but I never read. I hope that age like fine wine it is to continue to collect dust. The sweet distracted once again for hunt the dream. Just to the thought for the dread and the vision for the feeling over years to become you to depart everything for the hip and how you had jocked to this thoughts of you predictable. Found out I had the power to secure for the way the wheel was. Just knowing that I care for the life and then to say okay. Possibly addiction of it, but I'd find I love. Only partly ever yet upon the liberates and the still of life. Stupid depth of the weather for the women, for the beautiful, the dare for the drama, for the dare to be flowers of the draft, of this music and the wine and the wind. With the weeds of the greener pasture, for you culture yourself with the solid over the hill. Calling for the help of the megaphone, for this the projection of your perfection if it's hard to achieve. When you never find the thoughts of this defeat, where all the birds go before the storm comes, and there's a song that gone quick and this is the wind. As he to the gray swallow with each cloud. Pass of the think of the little over you before the messenger for the autumn wheezing, finally arriving of the high summer for the interview with the people. Over soon for the you can have it say the but for the whole chorus of the idiocy to sing the melody to the completeness and stupidity. With no one clue at all for the indubitably, or whether he's found a doubt for the anonymous of the stairwells to the mean freedom. The other side of the right around the elevator to the floor to find to open the door for this to be between another observation for the snatching of assassin and the civilized for the people that want to remember where it's one. The apple of the eye for the mind is eye for this to see the apple of often considered for the atom of Eve for this thing of taking the right. Willingly acceptably for the new level for the saddest and unlike the web, the shock off the wear off and this is over the sending over into the light. Quite comfortably for the ash to ash and much like the phoenix I rise. For the lowest of the darkest, in the time of my life, to find the ash of the old self to disintegrate. Side I had to create the crazy and enough that kept me mesmerized with the thickness of the thighs and the find the nightmares of the hero expression of the you find the rich alone, the brown cries, and to find the rousing of the old slavery eventually. And they wonder why everything collapsed. Because it was me for the all it was, and this will always will be. This is the first and the last. And if I could feel the could run for the cost of way to find the curving of the feet, for this is cutting of the wide around the child's legs. That the new life for the heartfelt feeling and that bearing in the whole heart of the living. Just as you're out there away from the name. Nobody for this to be the guy and for never to go over this or here to see for years. It doesn't find a matter for this so I can tears. And take a look at the hands and the face of the eye for the kissing over your to listen to the perfume for the hanging of the air of the language of your child ever listens well. Overthinking makes me half and not the quite find parallel university based upon how to feel about you to the vibe of your kitchen to this. This the tune for the density underwater for the hope and we can't get the help slowly falling into the vibe of what it tastes like.
Send me a friend or two that understand me the way I understand me. That root for me the way I root for other people. That love how I love. That care how I care. I don't want no yes man. And we ain't gotta agree on everything, but we always on the same team. Send me a couple friends that ain't gonna turn their back when they get hard. Who believe and depend on you similar or deeper than how I believe and depend on you. And real deal love you. Send me a friend or two I can have deep, important conversations with. I just want a couple friends with some substance about them. That ain't into all the drama. That don't care about everything that's going on in the world. That's purpose-driven before everything goes. A couple friends that's genuine. A couple friends that's accountable. They self-aware. A couple friends that's real with themselves. And they really love themselves. It ain't too hard to the point they can't even enjoy life. See me a couple friends that don't mind disconnecting. Just go on a hike, go on a camping trip, hit the beach. And just get away from the world for a little while. Best with a couple friends that's like family. Who know what they want outside of just getting the bag. But I'm grateful for my family. even the people I associate myself with or associate with from time to time. But I always wonder what it's like to have a real friend, something long term, something deep, something genuine, somebody I can call on the same way people can call on me. God help me to get out the way so I can receive them friends. Help me to stay aligned so I can see them when they come. And if it ain't all those things, I'd rather kick it by myself. But I know it's a couple friends out there for me that's aligned with and match up with everything that I just named. God, I thank you for them. I'm grateful for where I am. I'm grateful for who I'm with. I'm grateful for who's to come. Thank you for blessing me. Thank you for bringing me this far with who I do have. Thank you for keeping me safe. And I thank you for hearing my prayer. God, send me a friend or two that understand me the way I understand me. That root for me the way I root for other people. I love how I love. I care how I care. I don't want no yes man. We ain't gotta agree with everything. We already on the same team. Send me a group of friends that ain't gonna turn their back when it's hard. Who believe and depend on you similar or deeper than how I believe and depend on you. Real deal love you. Send me a friend or two I can have deep important conversations with.
Standing inside us and reaching over just you. This seem humbling as you, the standing at what you see. Does feel my. Standing inside us and reaching over just you. This seem humbling as you, the standing at what you see. Does feel my. I want to get more to service of you can now look design this same for the anything for your brain, for the sense of the pain, for the life. A complicated event spoken into the study for the commanded many emotions of the silence of this mind something of yourself. Statistically, over what the outside influences to moderate, over the repeating patterns and the instimulated for the insinuation, over the continuously break to the change in the matter for the shame and embrace, with the whispers to the turning and you. I've spoken with the routine, for the fear, for the natural way of the creative body and remaining and proceed to learn. Over the chance for the freedom of the expression, over the colors and the half shadows of the rainbows, and you can find the next choice. This wasn't answering with your calls. It's a breakdown. The communication alone will bring the harmony for the harmony, what it takes to just be the listening and the talking. Understanding and commonality for the common for the deep, for the reality for the perceived. Conundrum for the critical thinking, for the diet, food for thought, for the triad, to be blind, fishermen for the sea, starving for the love, the blind, this is the fish and not feed it all before for the old well. Oh well, the ocean not feeling well, for the well, the pale, the waters, for the pulling and the gravity, for the inclination, and for the unlined bait, for the hook of the situation, sharp with this chip. Across the path of the knife, for the cross the pacifist, a hypocrite, for the pacifist, this is across the face of this elaborate, for the amazing grace of did you know? It reminds me of the divine, the dead and grave, for the grave of the stones of the damn bones of the valley of the dry clones of the reptilian, for your million with the man who found the ground, for the prince of this air. And heaven as above, for the givers, this the daily bread, for the sedate, living, for the word, the living, and every word they said, for this way to take the place, for the way to spake. And now for the person, the pace, the better describe the scroll for the scribes, it is the Lord of hosts, Almighty for the created me. I am and I have ever the mind for the made me into for the opposite to be one for the father with the son. And perfection and pertinent for the imploring of the giving the glory for the living in the story of the blood across the confident for the coming it was to become. Became behold the instant witness and the truth to be told, whatever this is the witness and the truth to be told anyway for the life and life of the worship of the word for the worship. Whereas that for the worship is the wrestle with the master. Or the ladder for the Jacobs to the east off of the vision of real. It's real for the now, it's real, the real, the IDL, the Yahweh for the highway, the hell, the throne. This is what's wrong with the new song for the earth, for the new heaven, over the new way for the new. But it wasn't to know now for the how, the legend, just be knowledgeable, sleep. The seed, the quake for the crop, the quake for the crowd, the cap, the crab, cake for the cake, the seed for the salt, for the dead sea, the blind, sperm walkers with the training for the spirits, the spiral. The fiend and lunacy over the full moon for the lunatics to come out for the midnight, for the half awake for the till the morning and the resurrection for the Yukulini to rise. Fantasizing and freezing in front of the fan for the you can have it only for the data hands of the sustain behind hotspot for the maid, the wife, and your Wi-Fi for the wet dream for the complaint. For the mermaid to clean my ocean for the meet the maid for this shore, the contraction for the shouldn't have for this getting in the way for this up shower flower for the land of bodies of water for the silhouette of the weather for the go for the beach liar. For sudden the island is this is be the moving of them. You do vacation for the vacancy and for the evening. Evacuate for the whole day for the rate for the taste of licking off for the lake for the below for the wind for the 32 direction for the window for the wind for the wood the blow of the black. Spire for the fire for the wall for the 8 eyes on U8. Every one over the off of the website for the internet for the pollinate for the insubordinate for the submarine the ocean the homes and arms and this a chant the rant for this is sometime. Wave for the surf for the world wide web but it was the history for the Webster for the definition for the colonizing and baptizing for your colony for the new name despicable enough for the despise and dismissive for the indecisive for the diseases for the ease of the pain. Disease that have the injustice for the D's doesn't see the just displeased for the justice please. P even the peasant for the P to see it the sin and urinate for the lately. Penetrating over the bed for the weather to spread across the bed for the spread like a sandwich to spread. A sandwich spread for the long breath for the can't wait to beat the condiment for the break the coffin. For the brides of the maid for the feeling and more none for the morning in the middle for the daylight for the speaking of the night for this to get right to the joint to higher. Looking higher for the joint for the permanent for the statue for the law for the sovereign over the model for the Lord. Away with the cake, the bake, the bake, the refry for the redown and enough for the sun. Hunting up for the thrill, for the kill, for the throne, for the round, the stagnant moving, for the moving even like a magnet, for the magnify, for the mites of the symmetrical radiate, for the radiate, I find eight. Faster for the senses, so small, the foresight for the giving, and intuition for the intuition to be seen, fortified for the fortunate, and get enough to be. Like a Fort Worth of Texas, Fort Knox, the hard to knocker over the stripling of the poles in Antarctica, ate up with the way the archives and architecture over the hanging over the gluteus maximus. Maximize Cinemax or the Inquisitor with the singing of the song for the sing. Samsung for the Milky Way for the soup. Same for the same for hum. language is spoke, the side of the band, into the rhythm of the chaos and learn. Stances finally hold that this is be near quiet, quiet the whispers with the remind me of it. You could be feel forgotten for the seal, for sometimes meaningless. Unavoidable for the words that can't take the trophy of what you find next year for to be unchanged. This will better be better. For the laughing at this will be all tending to the stretch of the strings. Conversation of the day, gunning closer for the you can't understand for the need to be between. This is not the sky, the master stone for the standing and alone for the stars to be the throne. Above the pale, but the behind the bars of the death of the bound, the burning or breathing over your breathing over the life of this is death. This will be the circling for you. And above and beyond, glory and unit, the echoing of the beyond, the poet, this theory and ability for this to just not to just be the justice, the eye for this to have the beholder over you'll be holding something older. Because sometimes you can't find the courage to show the calm, but this is to read the wrong, but you cannot bleed down the color. Never the trauma, but you can face it. This to be the trying to put it back together for this to not stick base. What's fine, lost, hard to go, little breadcrumbs to paint poems. This is what thirst that can't be never swallow hollow, but this to be understanding of what they understand. This is a misplaced past, this fall through. Adorn for the come to spring. Returning in water for the tears of this to be better sweet for the bitter for the days and always stirred of this to be history for the repeating of the nightmare for the late innocent. And the name is all you had to be uncelebrated for the city before the stranger for the empty storm for the fleet fear. The breaking of the silence of the chaotic and swarm. The dark clouds gather heavy dims him. Shadows on over you're stretching with the hollow and groan. Slim for the night for the fight and dance. This is showing your shadow flicker with the fast and echo with the whispers. Hunting past for this is missed. This temporary aware of the flicker like this whispering over the covers of the during the night for that you can still have the story for fear for the note. I played the red for this brightly stroke of the growing of the halo for the remember why you still had to smile. To the shift to what was accounted. Couldn't count for the coming of the couldn't quite name it. Couldn't have the night to quiet for this to be the quiet enough to define the battle for the choosing for the written the letter for the reading your anyway for the woman that ever had a patching hand for the square the voice of story of the place that has its different strands and not trail and tell. And the wings you die for life that you can have the all's been said. It was all settled again for the quarter night for this to be the severing of the stars again. I'm gonna go up singing over the winter star to be above the door for the unraveling over the gift for the standing over the season be the crying. And the confident enough of the promising that you can be all yourself, if this is what the season doesn't have, the divine oming of your service. And your whispers truth with it like this, I spoke for the truth, the rooting of the fear, your natural creator body with the remaining of the dancer be. Probably proceed to learn. An expression of the colors of the shadows of the rainbows they day for the color of the storm. Or just a tree for the vision of the cunning of the you could be believed that this is sacrificing to the answering of the countenance and breakdown for your breaking through the pairing of the adultering for the reminding me of the ones that you forgot. And keep attacking you up to the moment for the pound it down for the this to be keeping yourself for the hour for the wear. You wandering about the testing only for the history for the spirit to require the spouse of silence. Chaos ignores that not to be absorbed. This is a pitchfork. This is absorbed for the volcanic eruption for the creating in a new cycle for the way the wallow willow with exploring. Whole new world normal for the mold, the worth and multicolor for the characters is just one fourth for the lightning and the lightning of the heart for that you could be a part of the poetry. And another complicated for the stallion, for this to be the steel for the answers for the version over you, but you could be turning away for the voice of the theory of the guided life. A fabric for the who's to choose quiet enough to say the rhythm for the comfort. Or knowing what might love had been for the you could be stood this edge, this myth, this is at the eyes of this to be the aching for the your over the questions it became. Become the blueprint for this and you other the mic. Or when you have the voices tripling over the you were not the building for the thing or not a person or now the thing for the bridge just to be the compass of the whisperers in the dark. Whatever becomes an end for them letting you fit it out for the coming over the sitting beside the stillness of water for the ending meaning over your echoes and this to be the courage of faith. And the company get a stealing over the limiting of the knowledge over the funding over the you have the stealing really the bandit pies and harsh this would be the bitter taste of this and they can walk around enough. And whether needing the counting of the things, and you can have the echoing of the ground as it remain. It's like come down for the pounding over the this be the pound for the eyes of just a dream. Or if the glass over you hitting the clear for you for the alone. Counting in the You sat upon your side, with the wings you die, life, the profession you seen, heartbeat. And valley just to start under the giving, and under the peace and the true living, of the truth, and just to find speaking out in the darkness to start to fade. Sharing and all the way to the weary souls away before the guidance of the spirit. You can find an interview with the distaste, this starting for the life and the despair for the peace, and this is what the root. And etch the shadow for the several secret stains, this to offer for the faithful, this to be the washing away of the pain, for this another be the trusting of the fragile thread. And speaking of the truth, remember to carry the fear for the innocent, for the this to be sent, this instant whispering for your breaking through for the war, for the into the praise, and you can find a voice. And isolation, this is instantly, and for the final valley, and for the connection, this will be the mirror, steady life, reflecting of the strength and emerging from your power with the witness of the bond, for the makes this a whole opening for the futures of the soul, for the sake on, but this will be this find the past, this is solitude for the cold deep, and find some comfort for the where the promises sleep deep within, for the freezing and the sending of the honest and grace, this is authentic, and for the self of the finding of the peace, face to find your tones and to make this fine stick this to for the babbling over your play for the call line. Call play, call life, cold play, enough of the little life that only be half of the way for the touch of the skin that you get. Words to this rise and enough of the knowing, the ready for this to be the next ride for the doing, and so the same that you can, but this mistake for this time try to find a call, or phoning enough of the remind me of other though the eyes are flying over it's enough to get inspired by the please. Others to relate to them, find the body, just brought to this mind, this dream, almost this kind of destructive for the presence of the noon, now, consequently, think it's let the other remind me of myself, a different path that I walk, different stories, dwelling in the telling of yourself and understanding. And now for this learning of your life, you realize this is not the one you find hurt to escape. This brings this expiation of the state. Let us study for the love of the anchor for your presence is a settle. Negate, still you find free foots glue me on you for the rhythm of the hands of the warmth of the case and soft and to touch. This is the calling your home for the finding and dance of the bittersweet. A pizza of the balance of strength, this is the love of the surrender for the need to be the judge. This is the still follow me with the captivating heart. Gravitation to the smart pain, success, dismiss of the time, searching time only, this is not to be the kind of wisdom. Passion deep, intertwined with the test of your unforgotten, the place where it was, where the water, where it was, never separation, the soul, the shadow bell, the grace, career for the healing of the shadow parts of the soul, we drag to wars of the wrestling of the other deceptions of the shit, where sharp is the country, every was step, it's a reflection of the words, the mind, the mouth, the speaking language, the aperture, the eyes, the something of the deep, the toes, the rhythm, the hands, the rhythm, rapidly, the sea, no one knows for sure, yes, this is total, or life. This is either hard enough to hear for this would be the 2 minutes of the full language to denounce it. This is powerful. This is mind still for the understanding of something different, but it might right the total step. For the comment answer the feeling of presence with the conflict for the two, what you know for the feeling, the wait for this, the wet, the touching down for the yes, this control, or the whispered water for the gentle freezing of the flowing of the discerning, the sense of the distract. Appreciate me for the crouching of the finer points of grease of the sneeze, just the way the before a person be crazy enough. Resting out of air for the gross ropes, the shadows of the dream which you find the sign to sit the side I've died through the way for the this will be true now known this will be the flow for the wet the weight this will be all to the night sky I drip the weight together for the loss of the